Beep, 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 beep. Morning. How we doing? Right. If you hear a low hum in the background, it's because I've got a rent boy tied up. No, it's because I've got a heater on. All right, because it's brassic here this morning. Pieris brassica. It's type butterfly, I think. Now, let's do madness. Madness. Now, just because I want to mention something, because I said a few months back. Some of you remember, others won't. Because it's just the way the world is. That there were some things that were going to happen that I think were really important in terms of film, and that was Barbie, right? Oppenheimer. Does anybody remember me doing this? Oppenheimer and the Killers of the Flower Moon, right? Martin Scorsese. Yep. So I've seen them all now, right? So I watched that Killers of the Flower Moon, right? So Barbie, great film, superb, right? Really enjoyed it. Total to the gender crowd, which is what we like. Oppenheimer, right? Really serious film. About a very serious subject, and to a certain degree reminded me, I don't know why, of Lincoln by Steven Spielberg, which was really just about dark rooms, men in discussion, which is what Oppenheimer's like, right? People go to Oppenheimer going, God, it's going to be great, loads of explosions. No. Okay, no. Oppenheimer is about talk, and it goes on for a very long time. I found it utterly fascinating, and again, rooms, grey men, rooms, talk, that type of thing. And then I finally watched the last of the trio, which is Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, because I thought, these films will bring a seriousness to cinema. And I think Oppenheimer's done that. I think it's brought a seriousness to cinema. And I think Barbie has given the gender a lot of bloody nose. So I was expecting Killers of the Flower Moon to be like even more serious stuff, let's move forward. And I hated it. It's Scorsese as well. I feel a terrible sense of guilt as a filmic person, right? Terrible sense of guilt about that. I thought it was awful. So I'll be interested to see what you have to say in the comments, but that isn't the reason for my video. I just wanted to tidy up something that I'd said previously, going back a few months ago. So that's it. Forget that, right? We're off that subject now. We're going to do something else altogether. So I'm going to have problems with the title today, aren't I? Right, so, important. Right, this is from GenSpect. As you know, GenSpect doing great work in the field and providing insight and topics of discussion and right. So they tweeted on the 18th of December about a development that is worth us considering just for a few minutes what exactly it is going to mean. Okay, so important, it says in the thread. Today, the World Health Organization, which is at the WHO, World Health Organization, announced the development of a guideline on the health of trans and gender diverse people, right? Yeah, I don't know either, right? The only thing I can surmise from even the idea of the health of trans and gender diverse people is that they're talking about the harm done by the medical malpractice we're seeing in the altering of human bodies. Because there is no health requirement of trans and gender diverse people that isn't a requirement for everybody else. Each individual, I go to the doctor doesn't go, can you give me the across-the-board diagnosis for this man, please? Well, yeah, but I've got problems with... No, he's 50. Yeah, so what's he got? Oh, all sorts of things. He's 60. What's he got? All sorts of things. So do you want to examine me, doc, and see? No, we'll assume you've got. There's no such thing as trans and gender diverse persons' healthcare. That is a construction. It's a simulacrum. There's just male or female healthcare. And we really should be placing more emphasis on female healthcare, seen as general healthcare can be quite male-centric, because in terms of what we know. So, GenSpect are bringing to our attention this bizarre situation at the WHO, where they've set themselves up to do this. So let's dig in a little deeper, shall we? Because this is going to be a topic next year, I think. Okay? And don't panic. Fear ye not. Right? Fear ye not. Good persons of the Twitters and the Jesterites watching. This new guideline will provide evidence and implementation guidance on health sector interventions aimed at increasing access and utilisation of quality and respectful health services by trans and gender diverse people. You'll do what? Sorry, Let's try that again. The new guidelines will provide evidence, there isn't any, and implementation guidance on health sector interventions aimed at, in bold, increasing access and utilisation of quality and respectful health services by trans and gender diverse people. Increasing access to bodily mutation and the shoring up of insanity, and making sure that more people, therefore, are classed as having a mental illness, which leads to osteoporosis, early onset, all sorts of nonsense, and early death, and the highest suicide rate of anything. What? You want to increase access? Okay. This is Nutsbury Farm Solution stuff, isn't it? So this is the WHO. Talk about who were you with in the doom light. Oh my God. It's like something like it. Members of the working group include Dr. Walter Pierre Bouman, during whose very brief presidency of, this is 2022, of WPATH. The atrocious standards of care version 8 were released, which removed the suggested minimum age requirements for hormones and almost all gender-affirming surgeries. Right, so what we've got here so far is then the WHO are setting up a set of standards and a group to farm children. To surgically, mentally, medically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially farm children. Yes, that's what they're doing. They are farming children. Now, if you've ever seen Torchwood, do you remember the aliens that came down? Give us 10% of your kids, or I'm going to kill you all. They're farming. This is stuff of horror. They are farming children. Now, this new group, right, the GDG, will meet from the 19th to the 21st of February 2024 at WHO's headquarters in Geneva to do the following. Examine the grading of recommendations, assessment, development and evaluation, brackets, grade, of the evidence used to inform the recommendations on the 5 above mentioned areas. So this is all to do with who gets what and when, okay? Interpret the evidence with explicit consideration of the overall balance of benefits and harms. Formulate recommendations taking into account benefits, harms, values. There's your. So look for the danger words in this. Benefits. You're only taking into account the benefits and the harms, because if there's any harm, firstly do no. Remember that. Firstly do no harm. So where's the key words in this? You tell me. Interpret the evidence, with explicit consideration of the overall balance of benefits and harms, and formulate recommendations taking into account benefits, harms, values, preferences, feasibility, equity, acceptability, resource requirements, and other factors as appropriate, and suggest implementation considerations and highlight research gaps for the guidelines. Right, okay, so what were the key bits that are wrong there? Well, values. Your values don't bloody matter when it comes to your health. Preferences. Nope. You get what is required to help you deal with your medical condition. I go in and I say, my bum always playing up, and they say to me, yeah, you're that age. Yeah, you've got, I don't know, what do you get down there? Piles or something. Yeah, your colon's full now, whatever it may be. And I go, right, okay, can you fix it? Yeah, well, I'd also like you to do my teeth while you're here. Can you just replace all those? And if you could do a bit of liposuction. Right? No. Elected. Yeah. Preferences. Feasibility. Well, I don't even know what that means. Well, I do, but I don't know what it means in this context. Equity. There you go. Equality of outcome. That everybody gets the same outcome. What do you mean? I go in with my flapping colon, and they go, put it back in, stitch it up, send him home. The next person goes in with a flapping colon, put it back up, stitch it up, send him home. Right? Okay. That's equity of outcome. That's what you expect to see. But the equity of that, the outcome, which is the equality of outcome, is that I go home better than I was when I went in. That's not always possible, is it? Because something could be dreadful. I go home better than I was when I came in, or as close to better as I can be from when I came in. What do they mean by equity here, I wonder? Equity in terms of diagnosis. Doc, sorry, you're wrong. You know, I understand that you've done many, many years of study. I understand that you've been a doctor for a very long time indeed. But I've been a train driver all my life. And I know I'm a woman. Is that what it's going to be? Really? Acceptability to whom? Resource requirements. What resources do you require? You're either ill or you're not ill. And other factors as appropriate. I mean, it's so broad as to be meaningless. The WHO will accept public comments by email to hiv-aids@who.int. What the hell has it got to do with HIV and AIDS? Then there's a link to an announcement with what appears to be a picture of two people, men dressed as women. And you can go and have a look at that particular link, because I'll put that, the link is in the tweet from GenSpect, which I'll put in the doobries for you. And then there's the link to the bios of the people in the Guidelines Development Group. Go and have a look and see what array of monstrosities are doing that. And then, in essence, it's gonna make it easier for people to do this. And it shouldn't be easy for people to do this. They shouldn't be able to do it at all. Certainly children shouldn't be able to do it. But, and here's the but, have a just a but. This close to Christmas, I'll give you a but. This shows something, see? It shows us something else. Right? It shows us that we have now got so close, if you will, to their bunker, right? That they know WPATH is going to collapse because it's full of perverts and people who shouldn't be there, right? So WPATH is going to collapse because of all their nonsense. It's a eunuch gender and children of 6 know gender identity, right? It's going to collapse because WPATH is done, right? The NHS has already said WPATH, off you pop, right? So go away. The NHS already said that. So they know it's going to happen. So then it's now gone back to the WHO, and the WHO are going, right, we need to put together this working group of men in dresses, for somebody with an air freshener, right? So actually, this is rather good news to end the coming year on, to join 2024, in that they're now really hunkered down in their bunker at the WHO, okay? Sat there waiting as we approach the bunker, all guns a-blazing, in order to bring about an end to this absolute nonsense. So go and have a look, go and have a read, find out, learn, understand. When you come back in the new year, this is going to be something we're going to have to fight. Okay? Because they are going to come up with all sorts of twaddle and nonsense. And the government needs to now make a decision about what exactly is going to be its pairings with the WHO. Same as the UN, see? And UNESCO, all the UNESCO stuff, all the stuff. Time to get away from it. Time to be forthright in saying so. This is garbage. We're off. Thanks very much. Right? So I think it's good news as well. Bad news, but good news. I.e., they're in the bunker. They're hunkered down as the shells of G. Zenith land around them. See? It's going upwards. From the hospitals, yeah, to the trusts, to WPATH, to the WHO. We are the French resistance. La résistance française. And we are coming in 2024. And if it takes dealing with the WHO to stop this, we'll deal with you, won't we? Because it's what we do. So don't be too downhearted, right? At least we know where the buggers are holed up. I'll see you later. Ta-da, peeps.